Hey guys, what's up? It's Raven. Fun fact from Shawnisa on Instagram. Your pupils are actual literal holes in your eyeball. It's not just a black colored dot, it's black because it's a hole. On another note, I finally officially have voicemails from you guys. I'm so excited. I've been saying for however long now, since I first brought back the podcast at the beginning of this year, that I really wanted to do something where you guys could essentially call in and leave me a voice message so I could play the audio and you guys can ask me questions, ask me for advice, whatever the case may be, and we can actually hear your voice and then I can respond to it versus just like having you guys like write in, which it's always fine to write in as well. Definitely make sure that you're following the Raven Elyse podcast account because sometimes I'll post little things on there where you can just leave a comment. But I really wanted to do the voicemail thing specifically, and it is finally up and running. So that is what this episode is going to be. It is going to kind of just be more of a test run, if you will, of this whole like voicemail concept, just to make sure that we iron out any technical difficulties and see how you guys like it. And then we can kind of decide, how to proceed after that and how I kind of want to like work it into the podcast routine. So for future reference, if you guys want to send me a voicemail, it's going to be speakpipe.com/onanothernote. And I'll have that linked in the description. I'll have it on the Instagram account, all over anywhere that I can put the link. I'll make sure to have it for easy access just from here on out, just so that you guys have it whenever you think of something randomly. I want it to be just like an open forum so you guys can always just basically send me whatever you want. But then there will also be times, I'm sure, where I'll give you like a specific prompt to sort of like, ask questions based off of a specific topic. This time I didn't do that. I just left it completely open-ended and I sort of just picked ones that I thought made sense to kind of like go together for this episode. So let's dive right into it and let's play the first official voicemail on the On Another Note podcast.
Hi, Raven. I hope you are well. My question is, recently you have said how you've been feeling down and uninspired and you're trying to find yourself again in your content, and you've been dealing with some depression and things like that. I've been going through something similar and I found myself in a content pivot too. My question is, what have you been doing to help yourself get out of that? What are your new routines for yourself to get you better to get yourself in a better headspace to find what it is you really want to do and continue doing this in a way that makes you happy? I hope that made sense. Love your content. Can't wait to see you back. Bye.
Okay, so what am I doing to help get myself back to a better place when it comes to content creation and this sort of like burnout rut that I've been in? If you have not listened to my previous episode, highly recommend you do that because that gives full context to this whole sort of topic. If you don't know, I basically just took a month off from content creation, and that was the first time that I did anything like that. And honestly, like that's my biggest thing, is just taking a break. And I actually, for the first time, took an actual break. You guys saw me posting, I believe my last YouTube video, it went up on like February 16th or something like that. But that content was filmed in January. I think I'm pretty sure my last YouTube video, the content was actually filmed in late January. I believe my last day of filming anything was my Galentine's party, which happened on February 2nd. So literally after February 2nd, I didn't pick up a camera. It may have seemed like I was kind of still doing it a little bit longer just because of my posting schedule, but I literally did not pick up a camera, my phone to record anything for basically the entirety of February, which is a world record for me. I have never gone that long. And it was just 1 month. It's really not that long of a time when you think about it, but I have never gone that long without creating content. Like in my life, basically, like since content creation was ever one of my hobbies, and that dates back to me being 14 years old. Like I literally feel like since I was 14 years old, I have always had a camera or a phone in my hand on almost a daily basis. Either that or I'm editing or I'm planning or I'm working on something or there's some sort of, paid partnership that needs more work behind the scenes or there's something. You know what I mean? Like on a daily, weekly basis. I have never taken time off like that before. So that felt super different for me. And I think it really gave my, the creative side of my brain time to like rest and recoup a little bit. Now, a month is really not that long of a time. So to be real, I kind of feel like to really get the benefits that I really need, I probably should have taken a little bit longer. And maybe I will. I mean, I'm here now recording podcasts. I still haven't done any other YouTube content though. I still haven't filmed any other vlogs. I still haven't filmed any other short form content. The only thing I've been doing over these past couple of weeks is trying to get back into my podcast, which is relatively low stress, low, it's not asking a whole bunch of me. I do have some brand deals starting to come through now that I didn't want to miss out on. So I am kind of like pre-prepping behind the scenes for that. But I'm saying all that to say that I am still kind of halfway on a break right now because I do kind of feel like that's what I need, like an extended break to really just like I said, let the creative side of my brain rest. Because I think if I just give myself, more time to rest, it just gives me more time to just become actually re-inspired and remotivated and come up with new exciting ideas that I'm actually excited to create. You know what I mean? Which part of that is the play cafe idea that I was telling you guys about in the last episode. I was able to really sort of hone in on that idea during this break because I was giving myself that time to like not just be thinking about my daily content creation, but instead use that brain power and creativity to come up with this totally new idea. And so that's really the main thing. Other part of it is addressing my actual mental health. You are never going to be able to create quality content if your mental health is shit. I mean, you feel like shit and if you're like me to where I was like just down for the count, like not wanting to even get out of bed, of course, I'm not going to be inspired to create content. You know what I mean? So it starts with me taking care of me on a super base level so that I'm even in any type of condition or position to be able to pivot and create content. So again, like I talked about in the last episode, getting on this medication, you know what I mean? Those types of things, which I'm still very much like currently in the process of. So I don't feel like I have it all figured out. Like, oh, I've cured myself. Okay, we're good to go. We're right back on the horse. Like, no, I'm very much still in the middle of it. But as boring of an answer as it is, literally just taking time off is probably the biggest thing. And I know I'm privileged in the sense that I'm even able to do that. I know depending on your situation, you may not feel like you can take any type of break whatsoever. But hopefully, at least when it comes to content creation specifically, I feel like usually for most people, there's a little bit more wiggle room to at least take a break when it comes to content creation. So that would be my biggest piece of advice if I had anything. Okay, next one.
Hi, my name is Zanisha, aka Vodka from Kingston, Jamaica. I've been a fan of yours for the past like 8, 9 years at this point, and I kind of just wondered what is your plan, or like where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? Put it that way. Like you've spent over a decade now on YouTube and other platforms combined. What would be your next step? Like, do you see yourself outside of YouTube, life after YouTube, in the next 10 years? Do you see yourself like settling down and just chilling till retirement kind of vibes? Or, you know what I mean? Like, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
Well, in 10 years, I will be 41 years old because I'm 31 now. And that's actually really crazy to think about being in my 40s. 40. What the heck? My older siblings are in their 40s. So to think that I'm going to be like, it's just weird to think about. I literally feel like a teenager. I literally feel like I am just, you know what I feel like? I feel like I'm a 25-year-old teenager, if that makes sense. Like, I don't really feel like an actual teenager because that's a bit much, but I feel like a 25-year-old teenager. Like, you know how you hear people say that? Like, I'm just a 25-year-old teenager, but they say that because they're actually 25, but they feel like a teenager. I'm a 31-year-old, 25-year-old teenager, if that makes sense. So to think of myself being a 41-year-old for my age to start with the number 4, it's so hard for me to imagine. It was already hard for me to imagine myself being 31. It's even harder for me to imagine myself being 41. And this is an issue that I've been having recently, is like not having a strong sense of the future, if that makes sense. Like, you talk to some people and they just have such specific, strong goals for their future selves. You know what I mean? They're like, I want to have this many kids and I want to live here and I want to do this and I have this passion project that I want to do and I want to go here and do this and do that. And they have like all these super specific plans that may, you know, date out to 10 years from now, may go all the way to their 40s and 50s. Like, they've got it planned out that far because they have such like strong like passions and ideas, and they're just so like gung-ho about it. Me, I had a lot of strong ideas like that, but only up to a certain point. And I feel like I've said this before, but it was almost like by the time I turned 28, 29, especially by the time I turned 30, I already crossed everything. Like, I had a list. Apparently it wasn't a long enough list, and I already completed everything on the list. And so then I was like looking at my list like, okay, well, damn, I done ran out of things on my list and I'm only 30. Now what? And that's the big question. Now what? That is literally the question of the hour, the question of the year, the question of the past few years. Now what? You thought you had your list. You thought you had your strong goals and passions. Well, you did, but it wasn't enough to last you long enough. So you need to start adding some stuff to that list, figure out some stuff. But I think for me, like, I'm realizing that I don't have strong enough opinions on anything else. Like, people ask me, you know, do you want more kids? Maybe, not really. I mean, do you want to get married? I mean, do you want to have a life partner at all? How about another house? Well, maybe. What about this? Like, I feel so wishy-washy about everything that everybody has presented to me that it makes it really hard to envision my future. And that's not so, I'm laughing because it's like, I don't know what else to do besides laugh, but it's not funny. Like, it doesn't make me feel good. I don't think that's a good thing to not have, you know, solid goals and plans and stuff like that. Now, to a certain extent, it's understandable because you never know where life is going to take you. I think it's good to go with the flow. I think it's good to be open-minded, and kind of not be so hard on yourself in that sense. But I also think it's good to have some semblance of a plan. And I'm really struggling with that lately. That's the whole theme of everything I've been talking about. I will say, specifically when it comes to YouTube, do I see myself being a 41-year-old YouTuber? I hope not. I don't personally, I'm trying to think, do I follow anybody who's in their 40s? I think I follow some OG creators who are getting close. Like, I think they're like 39, maybe turning 40 this year, like some of the OGs. But most of them, they aren't really even doing YouTube at all, or as much as they used to. They've gone on to other things. They've started businesses. They have their families. They're just sort of popping in on social media here and there. Like, I don't even really consider them to, you know, quote unquote, still be doing YouTube like that. I know that there has to be YouTubers, successful YouTubers in their 40s. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but it's not something that I look up to. I guess I'm not really hoping to be that. But then again, you never know. I don't know. 10 years is a long time. And I mean, it's already been a long time. The fact that I've been on YouTube for more like 15 years at this point, and that it has lasted for 15 years already is a really long time. So to think about adding 10 more, so 25 total years creating content on one same platform sounds crazy to me. Doesn't really sound realistic to me. So I don't really see myself being a 41-year-old YouTuber. No. I think by then I would have liked to have transitioned away from posting so much on social media, but it's so weird to think like what will social media even be 10 years from now? Like of course I'm assuming there will still be a huge emphasis on social media in society, but I feel like it could change a lot. What are the platforms going to be? Like what are the trends? What are the types of content? Like are we going to be doing some type of holograms? Like is it going to be some crazy weird future stuff? Is technology is advancing at unprecedented rates. So 10 years, I mean, things could be really different. And I am somebody who likes to keep up with, you know, the next thing. And you look at my mom, for example. Actually, you know what? My mom is somebody who technically counts as an older, and she's above 40. Somebody who's older, who's on YouTube, technically, I guess, or like on social media in general. So maybe it would be something like that. Like my mom is on social media for the purpose of coaching, her coaching side of her business and promoting that and marketing that and talking about that and helping other people with their social media. So maybe I could maybe see myself doing something like that where maybe I'm like consulting or doing something a little bit, something that's not just me vlogging my life, like not so much emphasis on, hey, look at me and what I'm doing, but something more business focused and just using social media for the purpose of my business. I think that would make sense. But as far as, like I said, vlogging and well, podcasting is definitely something that older people do for sure. So I guess I could still have a podcast when I'm 41. That would still make sense. That might still be cool. So yeah, long story short, when it comes to social media, I would like to be more separated from it by then. I think that I could say that that's my goal, is to definitely be able to step away a little bit if I can. I don't want to be tied to 10 more years of strenuous, consistent, so much posting on social media. I think it would be good for me to be able to take a step back by then. And then as far as everything else, I don't freaking know. I don't freaking know. And it's annoying because I would like to know. Okay. Let's play the next voicemail.
Hey Raven, this is Montara from Atlanta. My question is, now that we're ending quarter one of 2025, how do you feel about the quarter? Can you reflect on that? What you did like, what you didn't like, what you were able to do, what you weren't able to do, and what are your plans for moving forward for the rest of the year? Bye.
Quarter one. Quarter one was not my best quarter due to the month-long break that I took in February. And technically we're not done with quarter one because today is St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, that I'm recording this. So quarter one technically ends at the end of March, I guess. So we still technically got a little bit of time. So let's try to make up for lost time. But I basically lost all of February because of the break that I took. So that definitely made quarter one a lot less productive than it usually would be. Except at the same time, a lot of times I take a break in January. So quarter one is never usually my most productive quarter anyway. But yeah, overall, not the best time because I took that break for a reason, because I was not doing well and not feeling well. So I don't really have fond memories necessarily of, that past month. But I will say in January, since I did not take my normal break in January, I was more productive in January. I had 2 brand deals that went live in January. One of them was a major deal that I was really happy and proud that I landed. The brand deal that I did with Microsoft Copilot. If you guys saw that on my TikTok and Instagram, it's the one where I did the honeybee themed dinner party. That one was really special because just the nature of the campaign, I just was really excited about it. I liked the overall concept. I liked the fact that it was multiple creators working together. And it was one of the creators was the rapping chef from TikTok who I like was a fan of, and I was like, oh, that's really cool to like be on this campaign with him. And the way they explained it, they sort of made it seem like they really sort of hand selected me for that campaign, which sort of made me feel special and seen as a creator. And I can't say too much, but that campaign paid very well. Shout out to Microsoft for paying their creators good rates. I wish I look I this is something that like I think there is a way. This is not the time, but I think there is a time and a place for pay transparency. I am a proponent of pay transparency, even when it comes to influencers or, any other, wealthy people. Like, I think knowing how much people actually get paid is important and it's helpful for other people. So there's a part of me that kind of wants to share more about like how much exactly I get paid for certain things. I'm not going to tell you exactly how much I got paid for that Microsoft deal. Just know it was a lot. Um, there was also another deal with another major brand company, corporation, whatever, that actually did not end up coming to fruition. It was, long story short, it was some hoopla and some back and forth and some mishaps and some missteps. And I ended up creating the content, but not being able to post the content. But when it was all said and done, good news is, even though they asked me not to post, they still paid me. They still agreed to pay me my full rate. So I was kind of like, well, this is not ideal, but ended up working out. I'm glad that I'm still getting paid for my work. And it was still kind of nice to know that I was contracted for that major brands. Like, does that make sense? Like, I was still proud of myself for landing the deal in the first place, and it didn't work out, but I still got paid. So that was a positive of January. The big Microsoft deal was a positive. I also had another brand deal with Brooklyn, and I genuinely love Brooklyn, and they do like linens, sheets and towels and stuff. And I've worked with them before, and I really actually like that company. So that was a nice brand deal. So those were like my pros of quarter one. But then, like I said, February was a complete bust. I mean, my Galentine's party was also good and cute, and like that was good, I guess. But then the rest of February was a complete bust, and now we're in March, and I'm just sort of like crawling out of my hole from February and trying to get back on track. And the main thing was like I really didn't want to let my podcast go to the wayside, so I'm focusing on that, and we're just taking it slow. Like I said before, I'm still sort of halfway, one foot in, one foot out, taking it slow, try not to beat myself up about my shortcomings this quarter, because there is definitely that Virgo perfectionist side of me that is very disappointed in myself. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. There is a part of me that is very disappointed in myself for what I didn't do or missed out on or shoulda, coulda, woulda this quarter. But I know I need to be gentle with myself. I know that breaks are necessary. So I'm trying not to think that way, but I would be lying if I said that I wasn't kind of thinking that way. Okay, next one.
Hey, Raven girl. I just want to send you some love, hugs, and positive energy. I hope you're doing okay. And if you're not doing okay, that is perfectly okay. Take your time, take all the time you need to spend time with yourself. Definitely miss seeing your content. Can't wait to see you back on here. And I just want to send some positive energy your way. Love you, girl.
Oh, thank you, Diamond. I am not okay. I'm getting better, but again, I'm keeping it completely honest with you guys. I am not 100% there. I'm still working through some things. I am glad to be, like I said, at least doing this podcast though, but no, I'm not okay. And like she said, it's okay to not be okay. And I really am I'm trying to find that balance of, like I said, not letting everything just go to the wayside and just, lose all my momentum on stuff I was working on, but also understanding that like I do need time and I do need to give myself a break. And I do like, so it's hard to balance, you know what I mean? How much of a break, how much time can I take off? How many episodes of the podcast can I miss? So I'm still, figuring that out. Okay, we got one from Lala.
What's up, Raven? My name is Lala Pereira, at Lala Pereira on Instagram. I just wanted to ask, are you thinking about retiring from YouTube? And if so, what will be your next venture? Will it just be hosting parties and whatnot at your home and DIYs? Or are you going to make that like a business? Like start a new business where you host parties and events and whatnot? Like go into it as a career? I hope it's not a repetitious question. All right. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Am I thinking about retiring from YouTube right now today? No, because, well, for one, this podcast is on YouTube. So I definitely want to keep going with the podcast. So I would definitely keep going with YouTube in that sense. Now, my main YouTube channel, vlogs, any other type of content, it's real wishy-washy. But I just know that it's not going to be it's not going to be this year. I'll say that. It's not going to be this year that I like completely stop posting on YouTube. I haven't posted on my main channel in a while, but I can pretty much guarantee that you're still going to see more YouTube videos from me on my main channel. They will probably be less frequent, a little bit more sporadic, a little bit more spread out, but I don't think that I'm going to completely stop posting anytime super soon. Now, within the next, next year, the next 2 years, could I see myself maybe only keeping up with my podcast YouTube channel and not my main YouTube channel anymore? That is a possibility. That is a possibility. Like I said, not in the next, few months, not even in the next year, I don't think. But I could see 2026, 2027, I could see myself not doing my main YouTube channel anymore. Just depending on how other things go. That's my honest answer to that. She asked about me, like, so what would I do instead? Would I do like party planning, events, stuff like that? I don't see myself doing party planning or anything with events like specifically by itself. I just don't feel like I have enough of a passion for it to just do that as a business by itself. In my last episode, I talked about the Play Cafe, and I talked about how with the Play Cafe, there's opportunity to weave some party planning and event hosting into that as part of it. But as just its own standalone business, I don't necessarily see myself doing that. Okay, next one.
Hi, Raven. I was wondering if you ever thought about leaning into sewing and fashion content. I know you do sewing as a part of, some of the projects that you do, some of the outfits that you create to go with your parties and all that kind of stuff. And because you have that talent and not looking to get a stylist and or do any more major renovations to your home, maybe you could lean into fashion and sewing content, kind of like some of the other sewing creators. Like I think one lady's name is Mimi, who does patterns and stuff for Joann's fabrics. Anyway, maybe that could be a way for you to get back into some other types of content that would be enjoyable for you. Anywho, love everything you do. Don't stop, girl.
Thank you, Janine. That's actually an interesting question. I haven't surprisingly, I feel like I haven't gotten that request. People do ask me about starting a clothing line, but people don't really ask me about doing sewing content, which is interesting now that I think about it, because that is definitely like an avenue that other creators, there's definitely like a market for that. Like, the way that I do my DIY projects, but focusing in more on making garments and, fashion related DIYs, which I did used to do, if y'all know, back in the day on the Ray Baby Show. Some of my very first few ever YouTube videos and some of my very first few ever DIY projects were fashion DIY, like sewing projects, thrift store revamps, making my own clothes, customizing my own clothes. That's OG Ray Baby Ray content right there. And it was something that I really was super passionate about. I went to school for fashion design. I do have a bachelor's degree in fashion design. And like she said, I do use those skills and sort of make that content here and there when it comes to like making a costume, making a Halloween costume, or like she said, something for a specific, dress up for a party. But it's been a very long time. I can't even remember the last time that I made a piece of clothing for everyday use or something that wasn't a costume. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think. When is the last time I made something that wasn't for like a costume? I literally can't even think. It's been so long, but I used to do that all the time. And that's interesting. I mean, I think maybe that would be a good idea for me to just sort of like dust off the sewing. Not that I haven't used my sewing machine recently, because I have, but dust it off in the sense of, everyday. Why can't I not think of the word? What is it called when it's not a costume? Just regular clothes. Y'all know what I mean. Maybe I should. Maybe I should just try it and just kind of see how it feels. I think I would need to try it on my own time, like not for the purposes of content first, like just sort of do it for me, do it as a hobby, see if it's something that I really still enjoy doing. And then from there, if I do, then experiment with like making some content about it and then kind of just like go from there. But I do think that that's like a really valid idea. I don't know content wise how it would perform, how many people are really interested in that compared to other types of content that I currently do. But I think it makes sense because lately I've been doing a lot of DIY stuff, creative stuff in general. Sewing and fashion is not far off from that at all. It kind of all is in the same vein. So you would kind of think the people who have been supporting my recent DIY content, and if that content is doing well, then maybe sewing fashion related content would also do well kind of with that same audience. Maybe not. I don't know. But it's definitely an idea. So I appreciate that. That's like genuinely like a new, fresh, something that I haven't really gotten before. Okay, this next one is anonymous, which by the way, if you guys ever want to send an anonymous voicemail, you do not have to put your name. There's no contact info. I will not know who you are, so you do not have to worry about that.
Thank you for asking us about questions we have. I love your content. Even when you pivot from beginning to end, it doesn't matter the subject. The only thing I would ask is if you have a gap of time when you're not posting, can there be extra episodes to fill that gap so there's not a void? Or can there be a notice on when you'll return? Because I guess just information is good. So not trying to put any pressure on you because I know it's a lot. And I also know it's what you enjoy. But for the audience, if you can just like give us a heads up on when you'll be back or how long you'll be gone or that you'll be gone, it would help out a lot. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, fair and valid points, because I have definitely gotten that feedback more than once over the last however long. I've been a little bit spotty, my consistent, especially on YouTube, my main YouTube channel. Like I've skipped uploads and people are like, where are you? When's the next upload? Like just kind of getting annoyed with the spottiness. And especially with this past extended break, people had that same feedback. My thing is, I don't take breaks on purpose. The breaks are never planned. The spottiness is never on purpose or planned. So it's impossible to have something pre-prepared. If I knew I was taking a break, then of course I would prepare content for that break. But I didn't know I was going to be taking a break. Also, if I knew I was taking a break and I knew I was going to be like, oh, this is just a planned break, I'll be back on this date, then of course I would tell you that. But it wasn't planned. I didn't know when I was going to be back. It was completely based on taking it day by day and seeing how I felt and seeing what I was able to do. So I just didn't have Didn't have it, didn't have the content, didn't have the information to give you, didn't have an update, didn't have nothing. Didn't have nothing to give whatsoever. So yeah, it was just radio silence. And I could see how that is, confusing and frustrating as a viewer, especially my diehard viewers who I really appreciate, who are like, I am there waiting every Sunday for an upload. And then when there's not one and it's just like silence, it's like, hello. So I get that. And that is why I try to post little updates here and there, like on my Instagram stories. Instagram stories is going to be the number one place where you can see like real time updates if I do have one. So definitely recommend following my my main Instagram page if that's something that's important to you. But yeah, sometimes I just don't have it. I trust me, I would love to. I would love to never miss an upload. That's the best thing for me as a creator. Consistency. Staying consistent with an upload schedule and pumping out content back to back to back weekly is the best thing you can do as a creator. It is never a good idea to skip and be all over the place with your schedule. So that's never something that I do, just willingly on purpose. But it just happens. And it's been happening more recently. And hopefully now I'm starting to get to a point where I can have a better, relationship with my content schedule to where it could be a little bit more, what's the word? Sustainable, and it won't be so all over the place. But at the same time, I can't make no promises. Okay, next one.
Hi, Raven. This is Diana. I first want to say that I love you. I discovered you a few years ago, and I've been following you ever since. Especially your party and your home renovation videos. Those are my favorites, and your party ones have been helping me with my party planning, and so is your book. My main question: would you ever throw a party for your followers and make it like, I guess that a certain amount of tickets might be sold, or a way that we could try to get tickets or win tickets to your party and just have one for your followers? Just out of curiosity.
Well, hello and thank you. And thank you specifically for buying my ebook. Shameless plug. I have a party planning ebook. It's a guide that I wrote with everything you need to know if you're planning any type of party, all my tips and tricks and ideas and stuff. If you don't know now, you know. I will try to remember to put a link to it in the description box. I also have it like on my Instagram and everywhere. So check out my ebook if you haven't. Shout out to Diana for purchasing and using my ebook. I'm glad that it's been helpful for you. But yes, this is exciting because I am actually planning essentially a party for my followers, just like she said, where there's going to be tickets so people can, get tickets and come to something. Finally, I've never really done anything like that. I've been teasing it for a long time. It is my closet sale event. It's more than just a closet sale, though. It's more like a yard sale, flea market, because it's going to be more than just clothes and shoes. It's going to be all types of items. And I'm getting more people involved to sell their items and help me put on this event so it can be kind of bigger than just me and my stuff. But I also wanted this to be more than just like a rinky dink yard sale, but also basically be a party, a mix and mingle, have like a meet and greet aspect, have a DJ, food, drinks, decorations, photo op, full on Raven Elyse-ified event. Just like I would put on anything for my friends and family, I want to put on something nice for you guys. And it will be a ticketed event. Tickets are not on sale yet as of the time that you guys are listening to this, if you're listening to it when it first comes out. But I will definitely update the description as needed when the link does go live, so you guys can have that if you're listening to this later. But I can tell you that the event is going to be on May 4th. May 4th. That's a Sunday. Probably around noon is when the event is going to start. We're still ironing out details. Like I said, tickets are not for sale yet, but it is going to be on May 4th here in Austin, Texas. So if you're in Austin or close enough to Austin, Mark your calendars for May 4th if you're interested in coming to a Raven Elyse event. Finally, I'll have a lot more details to share. There's a lot more to it, but I don't want to say too much too soon before we have everything ironed out. But yes, and I do hope to do more stuff like this going forward, definitely. Next one.
Hi, I just wanted to ask why you aren't posting on your YouTube account or your main YouTube account, your vlogging YouTube account, because every Sunday I go on YouTube expecting a new video from you, but there's nothing. So, yeah.
Oh, her little voice. She sounds young. I mean, forgive me if you're not, but you sounds young from her voice and her little accent. I love it. So cute. I'm sorry. You made me feel so guilty. It's like, why are you not posting? I mean, I kind of have already explained this, but to be super straightforward about it, I don't want to vlog when I'm not enjoying life. You know what I mean? A big part of vlogging is feeling like you have something good to share. You know what I mean? Not always. I mean, definitely there's a part of content creation that's like sharing your struggles, sharing the raw, real negative stuff too. And like y'all know me. I don't have any problem with that. But it gets to a point. It gets to a point where I don't always want to share the struggles and the hardship, and oh, I'm not feeling well, and oh, my mental health is not the best, and oh, I'm struggling with this, and I'm not sure about that, and I'm kind of in a rut, and it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I don't want to film that. I'm not trying to record myself during this time. You know, this is not. People always make fun of people like, oh, you're supposedly going through a hard time and you're crying and you're emotional, and so you mean to tell me you're crying and you decided to pull out the camera and press record while you were crying? Like, what the heck? Like, people always, criticize people for sharing those vulnerable emotional moments. Now, I do think there's a time and a place, but again, it just gets to a point. Like, after a while of doing it so much, I guess it's like I'm sort of just getting sick of myself, if that makes sense. And if I'm not excited about filming it or sharing it, I'm just not. Like, I just realized, like, I don't have to. There was a point, and I still sometimes struggle with this now, of feeling like I do have to. Like, no matter what, I have to show up. Okay, if you're going through a hard time, film that. If you're going through a struggle, film that. If you are having trouble with your mental health, film that, because you got to film. You still got to film. You still got to post something. You got to be consistent. You got to show up. They're checking for you every Sunday. Like she just said, they're checking for you every Sunday. So it doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter how you feel. You still need to show up. People want to see the struggle. People want to see the raw and real. People could, you could help people by sharing your struggles. You could help people and all of that is true, but there has to be some level of balance. There has to be some boundary with it, where it's like enough is enough, where it's like you can take a break. You don't have to film every struggle. You don't have to tell every story. You don't have to bring the camera along every time. And you have to remember, I've been doing this for 15 years. I have shared so much. For so long, all types of things, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. Can I not take a break? Can I not go through some things in private, at least to a certain extent? I mean, because I'm here now on the podcast, like talking about it anyway, honestly. And I don't mean this in as like an attack on my viewers or my supporters, because I know y'all come from a good place. Not everybody comes from a good place, of course, but those of you, my real people, I know y'all come from a good place. And so this is not an attack on you, but it's more so like, this is me talking to myself in the mirror. I had to tell myself, like, it is okay. You don't have to. You can go however long without posting on YouTube. Who's making you? There are other ways. You can just do your podcast. You can come back to it later. Like people do it all the time. Like I'm sure it'll be okay. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. Even if it does cause because this is something I've thought of. What if I take too long of a break or I become too spotty with my YouTube channel and it causes my whole YouTube channel to crash and burn and completely lose momentum to the point where it's just not performing well and I'm just not able to keep up with it even if I wanted to? What if I run my YouTube channel to the ground by doing that? That's a possibility. I've seen it happen to other creators where they start getting too spotty and they're not posting enough. And now they try to come back and start posting again. And it's like, don't nobody care. We forgot about you. Too late, too bad, too little, too late. That is a possibility. And I've already sort of accepted the fact like, well, if that happens, then so be it. I'll figure out something else. Right? Won't I? Won't I just figure out something else? I have to tell myself that. Like, that's the only way that I'm like getting through this season. But yeah, that's basically what it mostly boils down to. Like, you will see me vlogging my life again when I genuinely feel like it. When I genuinely feel like, okay, I have something to share. I want to show you guys my life. Okay. And that might be tomorrow. Who knows? I'm letting myself like feel it out, I think is kind of the thing. I don't think it's going to be tomorrow, but it could be. Okay. Last voice note for this episode. Let's go.
Okay, so I know you were saying that you were thinking about opening up like the kids play slash cafe thing. What's holding you back from opening? Like, I know people have suggested that you open like an event center and like host events and stuff. Like, what's holding you back from like doing that? Not being like a party planner, but opening like an event center where people can host their own events.
That is definitely something that people have mentioned a million times. I've already even mentioned it in this episode, but I guess to answer the question more specifically, like, why don't I want to do that? Like, and she said, even not even just being a party planner, but just opening up an event center, period. I can agree that the concept of owning an event center, just sort of like a multi-purpose event center, that sounds like a reasonable business plan. Sounds like it could be lucrative, but it also sounds very boring to me. Like it sounds like there's no, just simply owning an event center sounds like not the most creative business venture, not the most exciting. Like it's just something, it just don't sound fun to me. It doesn't sound interesting. It doesn't sound fun. It sounds like something like, okay, yeah, that would be good to invest in. Like, yeah, you should probably do that. But I know it would be a decent amount of work. And it's like, I just don't want to. You know what I mean? Like I have no passion. There's no part of me that's just like, yes, I would love to own a large empty place where people can have their parties. Doesn't that sound fun? Like, I don't know. And I know there's other ways of doing it. Like there are event centers that are a little bit more hands-on where they offer decor packages. And so there's a level of creativity that goes into how your center is decorated or different features that you offer. And like, there could be more to it. And never say never, because again, I do think it is a viable business plan and it makes sense, but it's just not something that like excites me. And I'm at a place in my life right now where I need something that's going to excite me. Clearly, I do not want to just do something just because, oh, it makes sense and it'll be lucrative. Like I'm not in the headspace right now to do something for money and money only. I am not. I will let me not say that. I need something that has razzle dazzle. I need something that has creativity. I need something that has passion, purpose, community. Like I need something that's going to change my life and just be invigorating and inspiring. And that's where the Play Cafe comes in. That has been my best idea that hits those marks out of everything. Even being a party planner, to me, I kind of mentioned this before, it just doesn't quite hit all those marks enough. Yeah, I would say I would prefer to be a party planner more than I would want to just own an event center, because at least when you're the party planner, that's the creative part. But I don't want, like, I just don't really see myself taking on these clients. They have their vision of what kind of themes and what kind of parties they want to do, and it's just my job to like bring it to life. Like that just, it's like I don't want to bring your dreams to life. I don't want to bring your visions to life. I want to bring my own visions to life. And not every client is going to give you creative freedom at all. So that's the part of it that's kind of like not as like exciting to me. And just the idea of like working with like that seems very stressful, because when people hire an event planner, bruh, they're gonna have high expect. Trust me, just from my little, I've never worked with an event planner specifically because I'm always my own event planner, but I've worked with like other vendors for parties, and like I know from firsthand experience, this stuff is not cheap, and you have high expectations for the services that these people are providing, because most likely the whole point of why you're having a party is because it's a special occasion. So it's very high stakes. It is somebody's special occasion. It's somebody's birthday, anniversary, baby shower. It's like one of their major moments in their life, and they want it done a certain way. And if they're putting it on you to be the event planner, that's too much. That's too much pressure for me. I'm too much of a perfectionist, too much of an overthinker, too much of a, honestly, like an introvert. I think you have to have really good people skills, really good people skills, and a good amount of confidence. You know what I mean? Like those are pretty high stakes. And so that part of it kind of turns me away. But again, never say never, because it does make sense. I think I just need to get to a different point in my life to be able to do that. And I see it as more of like an expansion of something else. So I do think for me, it makes more sense to do the Play Cafe, because if you listen to how I explained it in the other episode, it includes more things that I'm actually inspired by, actually excited about, and feel like I would be better at. And then from there, there's room to like expand that idea into, yes, some party planning services. Yes, maybe expanding into another event center to kind of play off of. Like, I think there's room to sort of create this whole ecosystem of everything. So I do think I could kind of see that in my future, but yeah, I just definitely don't have any desire right now to open up a straight up event center or become an event planner. But yeah, you guys, those were all the voicemails that I have for this episode. There's already more coming in as we speak. You guys have not wasted any time sending in your questions, which is great. Keep them coming. Once again, I will have the link in the description box of this YouTube video. I'll also make sure to have it on the Instagram, easily accessible for you guys. So make sure you're following the Raven Elyse podcast Instagram account. Make sure you're also subscribed to this YouTube channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on the new uploads when they come out. And also keep your ears and eyes peeled for more information about the closet sale event, because that's coming soon and I'm really excited about it. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week.